So, hello everybody. Today I'm going to do a reaction to the Alternate History Hub video called "City Flags or Abominations." Um, so I've seen flags from like Liberia, and they're not necessarily city flags, but they're pretty fucking bad. And I imagine a lot of the ones from America are also as bad. Because I imagine that's probably what he's going to talk about, like mainly ones from, I guess, the United States of America. But let's just see.
Those wacky banners that fly anywhere and for anything. They can convey a message with only a few symbols and colors, and they do that job pretty well, be it on the street, on the battlefield, or online. There are 5 basic rules for what makes a flag look good. Keep it simple, use meaningful symbolism, use 2 or 3 basic colors, no lettering or seals, and be distinctive. Sounds simple enough, right? Flag should be recognizable at a distance, be simple enough, and should absolutely never have lettering. Now, can you take a guess who doesn't follow these rules?
Ew, that's awful. Okay, so you have the American flag split up on the left and top right. Not top right, but bottom right and top left. You got French fleur-de-lis on the bottom. No idea where these cats are from.
So I'm in the process of a much larger video. A whole video about flags of the world, in the same vein as that national anthems video, if anybody remembers that. For the Q&A, I came across this question which asked me to talk about city flags, and dear God was it a rabbit hole. As you see, I wasn't simply looking through flags of American cities, but also city flags across the world. In the least shocking development ever,
Well, they look like one of the Japanese ones on the top left, and I think the ward flags are actually pretty decent from Japan. I've seen a lot of those, and I actually think they're pretty decent.
there are a lot of different ways that cities choose to represent themselves.
I don't know what this purple and white one is, but it looks like a video game flag. I don't necessarily know if that's bad, but gives me like, I don't know, Twitch streamer vibes.
The more and more I looked across the globe, the more American city flags just ended up looking
God, these are awful.
worse. You see, this video title is a little bit of clickbait, as it
Yes, I knew he was going to do like United States flags mainly.
turns out not all city flags are abominations.
Impressive. Very nice.
Just most of them are. In the US,
Ugh.
mostly from California. But I didn't just want to make fun of city flags, I wanted to travel the globe, through the internet. And then once we ventured this wide world, we can fully take in the absolute monstrosities that fly over our American cities. Most cities are not unlike your average US state that slaps a seal on a banner and calls it a day.
Yeah.
Your typical European city flag will do the same thing. It just so happens to not be a seal, but a coat of arms. Coat of arms are a form of heraldry that can differ in their complexity thanks to culture and history.
Honestly, not too big of a fan of the coat of arms. I think a lot of them are kind of way too complicated for what they should be.
And because of that, the general trend seems to be that the further south you go, the more complicated the coat of arms will be. Scandinavian flags, for the most part,
That's not a terrible flag, but come on, man. Having a duck as your main animal, I guess.
look pretty great. They follow all the rules of good flag design.
Not bad.
Which is funny, because as it turns out, these flags are also coat of arms that were slapped on a banner. It just happens to be that most of these symbols
Guess these come from like old Viking tribes or something.
were created within the last 40 years. So
Oh,
they're simplistic seals in a way. Show this to a vexillology nerd to break their brain. Norway really likes repeating things on their coat of arms. You can't have 1 fish or 2 fish, we gotta have 3 fish. or 3 hooks, or 3 birds. Britain is famed for making up symbols just like it makes up village names, but despite its long history of heraldry, many of its city flags are just alright. Their biggest cities are
Not that
usually just
bad.
some variation of the
The
St.
cross,
George's
yeah.
or St. Andrew's cross. France is a land of either tricolors or noble symbols. As an example, Brittany has one recurring theme. This symbol, by the way, is the ermine. It's often paired with the stoat, which looks a lot less threatening and much more adorable than the emblem depicts. Before we leave France, though, shout out to the
Whoa, that one is crazy. He's probably gonna say he doesn't like this flag, but this one is freaking amazing.
flag of Malouse. Looks like the official symbol of the Japanese Navy if they tumbled through a wormhole. Most of Western Europe will use this basic design of a coat of arms on a multicolored banner. They're what we think of as the typical medieval flag.
Yeah.
Germany, especially, is filled with that iconography. Now, while I'm sure there's a fascinating history as to why this certain city is depicted with a wolf, or an eagle, or even a flag, there's only so much time I have. If I skip over 90% of these flags, I hope you can forgive me. Now, while the coat of
Yeah, I'm
arms
fine
is
with that.
often repeated, what can differ is the flag it's actually on. Portugal, for instance, uses these square flags, while Austria and Liechtenstein don't even use flags. They use vertical banners. Serbia's show that it certainly hasn't let go of a particular fallen empire.
Oh,
It's
okay.
kinda
That's very the Roman square. Yeah.
funny because Greece itself pays no homage to that past. The
I
only
guess it was Greek, whatever.
common symbol that reappears from time to time is this anchor and snake. It's an ancient Greek symbol for health that has survived the millennia, and you may recognize it on your next doctor
okay,
visit.
yeah.
Before we leave Europe, let's take a visit to Kosovo, which probably has the worst flags in Europe.
God damn, these are terrible. This looks like clip art.
There is no real coat of arms, only a modern seal. Many of these even have a gradient, including the capital of Pristina. And I'm 100% certain this statue was just traced and illustrated.
Yeah.
But while Europe as a whole is generally more traditional and safe, if there's one place that just has fun
What is this?
with its flags, it's Russia. Russia is big, and Russia has a lot of cities that aren't tied down to things like coat of arms. In fact, it's kind of a nice blend of both northern minimalism and an attempt at European medieval iconography. Local Russian flags are great because they visually don't look bad at all. They follow the rules of good flag design. It just happens to be the images on them sometimes look kind of funny. So the end result is a bunch of visually appealing flags that
Yeah, but none of these flags look like they match.
happen to look like goofy fictional nations. As an example, sometimes they're just animals doing something funny, like this stork in a boot, or an eagle holding a ferret. Some have more unconventional animals on their banner, like a frozen mammoth, or a squirrel. As funny as these all are,
That can't be right.
in true Russian fashion, there is no
Lots of
animal
bears.
more depicted than the bear. Bear holding a key, bear holding a Bible, bear holding the power of nuclear power
Excuse me?
itself.
What the fuck?
Going from west to east, I'm going to briefly talk about Asia. Most city flags in the Middle East are typically just logos on a white field.
Huh.
Saudi Arabia probably has the worst of these. The city of Mecca, the center of the second largest religion in the world that billions pray towards
Yeah.
daily. Yeah, its flag looks like it wants
What the fuck? This is awful. This looks like some like a medical research firm.
to sell me healthcare. And
Yeah.
yes, that is a translation of text into English. You can't make this up. Really nowhere else except Israel.
You didn't even have to do that. Just like you just write like the whatever.
Israel has city flags, and those are typically just blue and white but with a seal.
They're okay. Oh. Yeah, Egypt isn't too bad.
Central Asia has some pretty interesting
Yeah, they stand out. I really like this one on the right. It's like the Big Dipper in it.
designs, but it usually falls back
pretty
onto
good.
using a seal.
Oh,
Except
yeah.
for the district of Tarbagate. I don't know why this cow, dog, and horse are squinting at me. I don't want to stick around to find out. Ulaanbaatar has probably one of the best capital flags I've ever seen. Imagine if this was the DC flag. What's that? China banned city flags in 1997? Oh, well, darn. Yeah, turns out China doesn't allow municipalities to have their own flag. So, hey, Hong Kong, enjoy that nice flag while you can. I guess that just leaves South Korea. And what is there to really say here? I don't know why, but white flags with text just annoy me. That's all South Korea has. It just feels like a nation of corporate look.
Yeah, it's very commercial looking. But I guess that makes sense. Or whatever, you know, due to America and the USSR kind of intervening in the Korean Peninsula, they pretty much had to remake a lot of stuff from the beginning.
Logos. What's most annoying is so many of these only recently changed, and it was to make their flags worse. I love that Daegu's flag has an awkward shade of yellow. Like, it's just dull enough you have a hard time making out what it looks like. I appreciate that. Oh, I forgot one. What's a Japan? Yeah, so Japan has the best flags for some reason.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if he said the Japanese, like, prefecture, the ones were bad, he's fucking crazy. These are all, like, legitimately, they're both simple and great.
They all take after the national flag and have a symbol in the center with a monocolored background. Some of these miss the mark a bit,
Not that one,
sure,
yeah.
but even the weakest ones would look like the best city flags in the US.
Yeah.
Technically, though, this does break the rule of not having any text, since these symbols are stylized characters.
Really?
So, yeah, checkmate. 0 out of 10. Worst flags ever. Alright, on to the Americas.
Oh boy.
Latin America plays
yeah,
it
I was gonna say
safe.
do South America
Most of their
first.
flags are either 2 or 3 colors. Usually they're just tricolors or bicolors. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. It still follows the rules for what makes a good flag. And it's funny seeing how many tricolors you can mix and match.
There's like one that it's like the Quechua. I don't know. There's like a people group in like the Peru, I think. No, Chile. That looks like it's like really complicated, but I really like their flag.
If you ever want to make up some fictional European nation, just find a random Latin American town and copy that. But let's be honest, if there is anyone that should plagiarize these flags, it's US cities. So we have traveled the world. For the most part, city flags are just the coat of arms slapped on some colored banner. The outcome can look fantastic, or terrible, but most of the time a coat will just be mediocre at best. US cities don't have coats. Instead, we have seals. Seals, for the most part, do the same job as coats, but they're mainly little dioramas or pictures representing the place they're about. So the results are much different. A majority of US city flags are just a seal on a banner. That's it. They're like all those state flags.
Very
I'm not going
boring.
to waste your time with the mediocre designs. Just keep in mind, these are the main city flags you'll ever see.
Yeah.
To keep things interesting, I collected a small sample of flags that I
that one
think
was cool.
best represents your typical American experience. So many of these don't simply break the rules of flag design, they break the rules of visual comprehension
awful.
in general. Just mind-boggling decisions. Seals are already generic enough, but they at least look official. Many cities don't even do that right. It's like they decided where it should go with a game of pin the tail on the donkey. Why even have the seal at all if it's so small all of these images just blurred together? Is this meant to be viewed at a distance
job,
of
California.
3 inches? Pomona's seal gives way to the massive bold font that lets you know, yup, it's Pomona. So many of these flags are just awkwardly balanced. They already have a seal, but then need font to repeat the same name again. I don't even know what happened with Westwego. Not only does the seal overlap parts of the tricolor, but it seems like their seal is a full 5 pixels at
It's
most.
blurry as
I don't
fuck.
even
What
know
the hell
if
did
this
they
is
do?
just a bad compression from the
I
internet.
feel like this was made by like a 5-year-old or something.
I truly believe this flag is flying somewhere in 240p. I mean, at least that seal is circular, which can't be said about Wells, Maine. Is this really a seal? What are you? Next are the flags I just call logos, because that's all they are.
Awful.
What else are they? They aren't flags. The city councils that picked them knew nothing about what makes a good flag, nor did they care. These flags are some of the most American things you can imagine, as they don't have symbolism or heraldry, they only have advertising. It's like if the US flag was made in Microsoft Word and every morning school children pledged allegiance to bold letters that say USA. There was really only one state where these popped up all the time. Can you guess?
Of course.
All of these flags just scream Florida to me. It's that cheapness, the combination of so many things going wrong.
This one isn't terrible. If you just had the peacock and the colors, I'm pretty sure this one would actually be pretty cool.
It embodies the Sunshine State. I love it. Sometimes these logos are paired with gradients. Gradients that are made in PowerPoint. Oh man, I love them. Logo flags are just unsalvageable. Usually you can do a few tweaks that make a flag look good, but not these. They're nothing but text. Once you remove that and whatever clip art they decide to find online, what else is left? It's removing the veil and seeing the husk that is this town's identity. Jesus, that's a little too harsh. Okay, as much as I'm bullying these flags, I want to clarify, the reason that these all probably exist is because they were birthed from council meetings of old people who probably...
Absolutely. Like, could you not have just hired a graphic designer? There's definitely some poor kid in your college who's getting no, like, jobs or anything. Couldn't have given him, like $4,000 and just say, hey, make it legitimately... Make like 12 really great flags, and we're going to choose one of them.
Just wanted to get it over with. You think elderly Susan, overlooking a constituency of 2,000 people, wants to be lectured about what makes a good flag by some nerd? And even if all these flags followed every rule of good flag design, there's only so many designs that can go around. One important rule is to be distinctive and have good symbolism. But how do you make one suburban middle-class town look different than the next suburban middle-class town? Was there some unique history one had that the other 5 miles down didn't? Because even if they had all perfect designs, eventually they just blend together. And how do I know that? Because a place like that already exists. Puerto Rico. It doesn't have a functioning government, but...
Yeah, all the flags are pretty nice. Damn.
I'll be damned if every little village in town doesn't have a flag that follows all the rules of good design. Look at these. They're little nation states. It's a different cultural attitude, one that doesn't really exist in the US. It used to not exist. I mean, times are changing and flags are improving. Okay. While towns and villages have logos on their flag,
Like, you could almost fix this one. Just get rid of the fucking words. Maybe, like, change the lines so they're vertical. So they're... Not vertical, but, like, so they're going from like the bottom left to the top right.
Forgive that. What I can't forgive is a major city having a terrible
That's
flag.
awful.
Or an average city birthing an abomination. Look at this.
It's not even
they put
center.
it between the colors. Why is the O so long? So many flags use loving clip art. They couldn't find an actual designer, so they just Googled what they thought would look nice. Newark put a seal on its flag, but they seem to have lowered the opacity so much that you can't even tell what this is. I actually like complicated flags sometimes. I'll be an avid defender of
the Maryland flag is like probably... Not a lot of people don't agree with that, but it's probably like top 5 for the state flags for me.
Flag until the day I die, but this is too much. I get it's supposed to be like heraldry, but these are images that clash too much. If you couldn't tell, this image is supposed to be a phoenix rising from the ashes, and it's just executed terribly. It's an open secret how bad this flag is, and residents have been wanting to change it for years.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, do I even need to say anything?
That's awful.
This flag is one of the poster childs for bad flag design. It's been beaten to death by the internet. This impressively breaks every rule of flag design. The overly complicated images, colors that clash with one another, the multiple uses of flags within this flag. I never even noticed the tiny American one until writing this video, but still, there are worse. Starting off with Beverly Hills. Yes, that Beverly Hills. The seal, it's...
Beverly Hills is soulless anyway, so of course they're gonna have a terrible flag. This looks terrible. What the fuck? So wait, this is literally where like all the Hollywood execs live. they have multiple millions of dollars, and nobody could have hired like a legitimate like person to design a good flag.
Itself is comical. Every little image brings in something new, all wrapped together in this building, which I'm 100% sure is just a JPEG with a Photoshop filter. It's gaudy and looks terrible, but it probably took millions to make. Provo.
Okay, you know those like meme images where they just have the same name on the top and bottom text? Something about this just screams that to me.
Provo. I'm impressed the city of Sanger has stuck with this flag since the 80s, assuming it's the 80s because this looks like it was ripped straight from a VHS from a 1988 infotape. There's such things as too many
Jesus. Okay, no, this is a complicated shape.
stripes, and Tampa shows it. As an Ohio man myself, I typically love non-rectangular flags, but this cannot compare to the others. It feels like it tried to be a rectangular flag, but
Somebody
gave up
cut
in the
it off.
middle. A
Yeah.
good way I describe this flag is indecisive. What symbols do we want? Slap all of them together.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad flags, but two I think are the most infamous, are ones you probably already know about. Sadly, these are so bad, they no longer are around. Just like the
Oh, well.
Great Auk. First, Cedar Rapids. It looks like an old-timey attraction. The sketched-out landscape, the text that was certainly written in 2 minutes. This was a beauty that, while ugly, had character. Now, while the new fancy flag certainly works as a design
okay.
and looks good, it doesn't have that history that this beauty once had. Nothing has more character, though. Nothing can compete with the king of bad flags, the flag of Pocatello, Idaho.
Jesus, fuck, that's terrible. Okay, so they have an actual. Oh my god, there's a copyright and a trademark within the flag. You have like. It looks like an 80s sitcom title.
Yes, that's right. There is a copyright and trademark logo on that flag. Yes, that's right. There is a copyright and trademark logo on that flag. Take it in. Let it encompass you. This is the peak of the mountain. The end of our...
I'm sorry, that's. Oh my god. I didn't think I would have this much fun with the video, so good job, Alternate History Hub.
journey. We explored the world, learning of different cultures and designs, only to end up here in Pocatello and fully appreciating the majesty.
Oh, oh my god, imagine being from here and having to look at this flag every single time and not just die.
That is this flag. Yeah, originally I was going to talk about some actually good flags.
Yeah, that one's good.
And they exist, trust me. They're just not that funny. This video ended up being a lot longer than I thought it would be, and I kind of want to talk about them in another project.
Hey, look, it's the NordVPN flag.
Hint, hint. But, hey, city flags. Maybe you didn't even know cities had flags. But they do. And most aren't good. That's the lesson. Bye. Password. Come on, you know it's me. I need the password.
And speaking of, I assume he's going to talk about NordVPN in the bottom of this. So thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe.